A growing convoy will be in Texas tonight. Why stump state officials say their rallying efforts are wasted in the Lone Star State.
And severe storms possible late Friday night. We'll have the latest timeline and your weekend forecast.
For months, the Texas Attorney General has been fighting off testifying under oath. The developments in a Travis County courtroom today that seems to pave the way for his deposition.
Well, the Chris Country Take Our Border Back convoy hit the road in Louisiana at about 9 this morning, with the growing convoy turning its wheels towards Texas.
Now, that convoy is projected to be here in Central Texas tonight. This is the group's third day on the road. Some of them started their trek back in Virginia. They stopped in Florida just yesterday. Now, it all started with about 18 trucks that arrived in Florida. That number grew to 40 as they hope to continue to grow as their journey continues to the Texas border. They are currently driving to Dripping Springs.
And from Dripping Springs, the group will host a pep rally and then split up to either go to Yuma, Arizona or Quemado, Texas. Now, all of this is an effort to express their outrage and concern about the record migrant encounters at the southern border. They say they hope their activism will inspire leaders to do something about it. Now, they're also looking to show support for Texas leadership as it, in their view, stands up to the federal government on border enforcement.
It seems like the Constitution's being violated when there's an invasion. We're a country, a nation of immigrants, but we have to have security at our border and know who's coming in and what's coming in. And all these deaths aren't okay from fentanyl. All the human trafficking is not okay.
And meanwhile, the border city of Eagle Pass is bracing for the convoy to arrive this week. The border town has been in the spotlight of the migrant policy showdown between Texas and the Biden administration.
Now, residents are weighing in on this fight. Small business owners in Eagle Pass say local stores and restaurants are empty with few patrons. And that's because many rely on Mexican nationals to cross the border and shop in the United States.
Recently, with all this going on, it's just been dead. We have weekends here where we don't even make any sales. We make little, if any, sales, when normally we should be making a lot more. So I think what Abbott is doing kind of helps keep the bridge open more consistently than constantly having the masses of people down there.
Local officials in Eagle Pass say they want to see Texas and the federal government working together instead of fighting.
And some Texas officials say there are other ways the convoy can make an impactful difference rather than coming to the state. Goliad Sheriff Roy Boyd, who leads an Operation Lone Star Task Force, says, quote, if a group wants to bring attention for the mainstream media to report on the protests, the convoy would be better off showing up on the streets of New York City or Washington, D.C.
Now to the weather, where we all smile because a day like today and really what we've seen this week is just amazing. Austin comes alive. Everybody's outside.
Yeah. And we were talking yesterday how
I love it.
A year ago today was the ice storm, right?
Oh, wow.
Temperatures were below freezing. We were losing power. So look at this, high temperature, 75. That sounds even better when you remember 365 days ago. Now, we have seen some clouds increase, but otherwise it's another great day out there. 71 right now at the Domain in North Austin. Skies are overcast on the Indeed weather cam. These are not rain-producing clouds, just some mid and high clouds blanketing the area, but it is kind of the first sign of a change coming our way. Coming up, we're only about 48 hours away from a Friday night storm. We now have a better idea of the rain timing and a risk of severe storms. We'll have that, plus your weekend plans.
David, thanks very much. Now, police say a teenager from San Antonio fell to their death at Rock Quarry in New Braunfels after a chase with San Marcos police.
Now, this happened early yesterday morning. Investigators say officers spotted a stolen car being driven by the two teens and then tried to make a traffic stop. They say the driver took off, prompting a chase down I-35. The car then left the highway and drove down a gravel road, which led to the quarry, where the car then hit a boulder. Police say the suspects ran from the car, and that's when one of them fell into an open pit, falling about 70 feet to their death. The other teen was arrested. San Marcos PD and the Texas Rangers are investigating.
A 17-year-old Pflugerville-Connolly High School student is facing a felony charge after allegedly shooting and running over a former student in the school's parking lot. According to an affidavit, Pflugerville ISD officers responded to the school on Monday after getting a call about a person being shot in the parking lot. Now, the victim told officers he was called over to the suspect's car, where the suspect told him, quote, "You're done for," and pointed a gun at him. The victim said he grabbed the gun and moved it away from him as the suspect stepped on the gas pedal, running over that victim. According to the affidavit, he was dragged by the car and suffered a gunshot wound to his left shoulder. The teenage suspect was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton may face a public trial in a long-fought lawsuit brought by his former employees. Now, since 2020, Paxton's top aides have alleged Paxton improperly fired them after they reported him to the FBI with accusations of corruption, violating the whistleblower protection laws.
Now, earlier this month, Paxton said he will no longer fight them and accept whatever consequence from the court. But today, a judge denied his request to end the litigation, potentially setting him up to give a sworn deposition for the very first time. KXAN's Ryan Chandler joins us from the courthouse.
Well, the Attorney General's argument in this case is essentially, look, we've been fighting the whistleblower allegations long enough. We're just going to lay down and let the court come to the decision they may. To be sure, they don't accept any of the allegations the whistleblowers make. They just say, we're going to concede the case. The whistleblowers say, no, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're going to vilify us and call our allegations lies, you have to take the stand.
Our clients like to follow the law, unlike Ken Paxton.
Whistleblowers not letting Paxton off easy. A Travis County judge ruling a concession without a confession won't get him off the hook.
Although the Attorney General is saying they won't contest the facts in our lawsuit, they're still actively denying them. And so they can't have it both ways.
Paxton's team argues he was already vindicated of these charges in September's impeachment trial. They say Paxton has the right to concede the case without admitting guilt. The judge on Wednesday called that argument contradictory. The whistleblower's attorneys say this is different than the impeachment trial, and Paxton won't have the same leeway to skip testimony in a real court.
And another key difference between that impeachment trial and this proceeding is that a civil litigant's use of the Fifth Amendment can lead to an inference that whatever they don't want to testify about is bad.
And today's developments run parallel to multiple other legal fronts the Attorney General is battling. The Texas Supreme Court just on Tuesday blocked plaintiffs from compelling his deposition in this same case, but they'll take that argument back up after February. And his criminal securities fraud trial is set to begin in Houston in April. At the Travis County Civil Courthouse, I'm Ryan Chandler.
The Attorney General's office originally settled with the whistleblowers for $3.3 million, which prompted the Texas House's impeachment. If the whistleblowers secure another favorable judgment, the legislature will have to approve the payment from taxpayer dollars. That's expected to be much more than $3 million this time.
Your product is killing people.
Social media giants getting grilled on Capitol Hill. The apology lawmakers demanded Mark Zuckerberg make.
Plus, anticipation builds in North Texas as the possibility of a future World Cup final in Arlington looms. When we can expect to hear an official announcement.
Fascinating new images captured by the James Webb Telescope that could expand our understanding of how galaxies form. A historic building in Round Rock is now in its new home after it was moved overnight. Check it out. You're looking at pictures of the process to move the historic Palm House down along Mays Street and Highway 79. It went from Main Street to the grounds of the Old Settlers Association. The Palm family immigrants from Sweden once lived in that home back in the 1850s. This isn't the first time the home has been moved, however. Its new location is actually closer to the spot the home originally sat. The city moved it from that location back in 1976.
An announcement years in the making is now just days away. This Sunday, we will know whether North Texas will host the World Cup final in 2026. Multiple unconfirmed reports suggest the answer is yes. Frisco and Dallas partnered together for the World Cup bid, which would benefit businesses across North Texas. The mayor of Frisco spoke on just how big this would be for the city.
The equivalent of like 8 Super Bowls is what they say. Having the Soccer Hall of Fame here, and of course the Hunt family with FC Dallas. So we hope to host a team here or be a major player in it.
Now, we do know Frisco and AT&T Stadium will host games, but the question is if Arlington will be home to the final in July of 2026. Sunday's announcement is scheduled for 2 p.m.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't get much of a lake level rise this month, but heavy rain did fall. This will go down as Austin's 5th wettest January out of about 125 in the books. Also the 5th wettest at the airport with close to 7 inches of rain. We're tracking some Friday night storms next.
The leaders of the biggest social media companies were on Capitol Hill today, facing criticism from parents and senators who say their platforms are dangerous for children.
Not all the CEOs were willing participants. The leaders of Snapchat, Discord, and X all had to be subpoenaed. NBC's Drew Petramil tells us what Congress wants them to do.
In a Senate hearing room packed with family members who say their kids were harmed by social media.
How many more kids like Matthew?
Like Olivia?
Like Riley?
How many more kids will suffer and die because of social media?
The CEOs of Meta, TikTok, X, and other social media platforms facing the anger of lawmakers, increasingly concerned about the impact of their companies on the lives of young people.
Their constant pursuit of engagement and profit over basic safety have all put our kids and grandkids at risk.
The companies before us, I know you don't mean it to be so, but you have blood on your hands. You have a product.
The social media executives say they are stepping up measures to protect their users, working with law enforcement and using AI to identify harmful content.
Safety is one of the core priorities that defines TikTok under my leadership. We currently have more than 40,000 trust and safety professionals working to protect our community globally.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg pressed to apologize to families in the room.
They're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
Lawmakers and parents argue they are not doing enough to stop problems like child exploitation and drug dealing on their platforms.
I'm so tired of this. It's been 28 years, since the internet. We haven't passed any of these bills because everyone's double talk, double talk. It's time to actually pass them.
The push for change coming from both sides of the aisle, but the deep-pocketed social media companies are powerful and hold considerable sway. Democratic Chairman Dick Durbin calling this a moment of reckoning and urging a vote on legislation to protect children on social media. Drew Petramil, NBC News, Washington.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, another calm evening out there right now, but let's get you what you need to know as you're in a rush this evening. I know warm days continue as we turn the page from January into February. Rain, though, develops 2 nights from now, late Friday night, and there's actually a new official risk of severe thunderstorms into early Saturday morning. Right now, we're just seeing a few mid and high clouds on another warm day. No rain, 70 degrees, pollen trending in the right direction with cedar finally stepping down from high to medium. I mentioned it is warm, but that's kind of been an anomaly this January. We don't have today's data sealed up in the books quite yet, since we do have a few hours left. But so far, January has been nearly 5 degrees cooler than normal, with day and night temperatures about 47 degrees. Just for a little perspective, that's not a top 10 coolest, about the 27th coolest January out of 125 in the books. High pressure still keeping us warm and dry this evening, even with some rain trying to come our way from the Big Bend and West Texas. All eyes are not there. They're right here. We have 25-foot breaking waves on the Oregon coast, a winter storm warning for Lake Tahoe for 3 to 4 feet of snow, and a piece of this massive storm is going to break off and head southeastward right toward Texas. The big update today, we now have an official 1 out of 5 marginal threat of severe weather late Friday night all across the area. Even though that's not alarming, this map will be updated several times between now and then, and our threat levels may increase. As of right now, this could be an all hazards event with anything possible. The most likely threats, though, appear to be large hail and maybe some localized flooding. As I mentioned, an isolated tornado even cannot be ruled out. So let's talk about what time this happens. I know you're making your weekend plans around it. 11 p.m., mostly cloudy, dry weather overnight. Tomorrow, another calm and warm day as we kick off February with a mix of clouds and sun at times. On Friday, we'll wake up a little bit different, and this is the day when the rain chances begin. Widespread low clouds and dense fog in some areas. Kind of a gray Friday, but notice not a lot of rain, a sprinkle at most during your workday and happy hour plans. It's later Friday evening. Let's pause you at about 6:30, 7 p.m. Couple thunderstorms start to develop out west. They become more numerous in the hill country, but might still not be in Austin through 9 or 10 p.m. Look what happens thereafter, though. Vigorous thunderstorms develop and become more widespread, moving into Austin by 11 p.m. or midnight. These could be strong to severe with large hail, as I mentioned, one of the primary concerns. Midnight into early Saturday morning, storms ongoing from I-35 eastward. But we're pretty sure that the rain will continue overnight, but it pushes out of our area entirely by the time you get going on Saturday. Now, some models want to linger it a little bit from Austin eastward, so stay with us tomorrow for another timeline update. As I'm standing right now, though, it looks pretty clear for your weekend plans once you wake up Saturday. Between now and then, though, overnight Friday night, really the main action event. Many of us could get an inch of rain from this setup. Some localized totals, hard to tell you if it's in Austin, Georgetown, or your neighborhood, could get up to 2 to 3 inches, and hence those little localized flooding concerns. Tonight's forecast, as we wait on that storm, 48 hours away, calm and not quite as cool. Mostly cloudy skies with a light south wind. Low temperatures dropping to 49. Tomorrow, an abnormally warm start to February, 73 with a breezy south wind and mostly cloudy skies. 7-day forecast has really nice weather tomorrow and again a mainly dry Friday, but a few storms start to develop late and there's now a guarantee of rain late Friday night. Cool and windy on Sunday.
All right, David, thank you very much. U.S. officials say retaliatory strikes against the Iranian-backed militias responsible for the deadly drone attack in Jordan could go on for weeks. Those officials tell NBC News the Biden administration has not yet finalized targets for the campaign, but they are expected to include Iranian targets outside of Iran and include both targeted strikes and cyber operations. The drone attack over the weekend killed 3 U.S. service members and injured dozens others.
Special guest, Bill O'Reilly on Cuomo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill O'Reilly.
TV's liveliest, most honest debate.
Wait. Cuomo, you talk the whole time.
Tonight at 8/7 Central.
News Nation has an opportunity.
Only on News Nation. Then, Friday, East Palestine. 1 year later.
The massive train derailment.
The lingering concerns over health, homes, and the future. Cuomo Friday, 8/7 Central. To find News Nation, go to joinnn.com.
French officials said today the number of people set to attend the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics has been estimated at about 300,000. That's about half as many as were previously expected. The opening ceremony will be a 3.7-mile parade along the River Seine on July 26th. It will take place amid security concerns as France is on a high terrorism alert. The last time officials estimated the number of attendees was in May of 2023, when they expected up to 600,000 at the ceremony.
Well, nearly 2 years later, Team USA figure skaters are getting their Olympic gold. The 9 members of the U.S. team from Beijing were just elevated to Olympic champions after the disqualification of a Russian teen skater who tested positive for a banned substance. Members of Team USA were on the Today Show this morning to share how they're feeling and who we could see on Olympic ice once more.
I mean, to hear the news, Alexa, that in fact this Russian skater had tested positive, to realize that you are a gold medalist, whether you got the medal today, a week from now, back then, how does that sit with you?
Well, it's amazing, obviously. You know, I have always felt like our team was a gold medal team, and it's just so gratifying and fulfilling to really have it be finalized and to sit here today with my friends.
And so this decision has been monumental for everyone, for our team, for clean sport, for all of the clean athletes who have been, you know, have lost their medal moments in the past because of people who have doped.
Will you guys raise your hand if you're thinking, considering Milan? Considering. There you go. Okay.
And Nathan Chen there won the individual gold at the Beijing Games, making him now a 2-time gold medalist. On NBC Nightly News, when the long-deserved gold medal ceremony could be held.
Well, check it out. New images captured by the James Webb Space Telescope have now been revealed, and they show some mesmerizing views here of 19 spiral galaxies. The intricate images show stars, gas, and dust on small scales beyond our own galaxy. Scientists are using the images to uncover the origins of these intricate structures and could advance our understanding of star formation and the evolution of spiral galaxies.
Well, coming up tonight on KXAN, we have a night dedicated to the Windy City. It's starting with Chicago Med at 7, then Chicago Fire at 8, followed by Chicago PD at 9, and then we're back with KXAN News at 10.
You can join us an hour earlier for KXAN News at 9 on CW Austin. Here's where to find us over the air or through your television provider.